Morning everybody, and welcome to the Mid Suffolk District Council Licensing and Regulatory Committee today, the 2nd of October. My name's Cathy Guthrie and I'm the chairman today. May I first of all remind you of some domestic arrangements. Please ensure that microphones and videos are muted and turned off when you are not speaking, that you do not interrupt the other speakers. Members are reminded not to use the messaging chat function during the meeting. I'm going to be quite brave here. We're going to try and use the hands up function on everything except for a roll call. So we'll do that. If you're attending the meeting to speak and persistently interrupt the meeting, you may be asked to leave. Additionally, you'll be invited to speak and ask questions, or we will do the hands up function, so we will await your turn. If you experience connection issues, in the first instance, please turn off your camera. If that does not work, you can turn off all incoming video. These options are available under the 3 dots in the main information bar. I would like to remind everyone present that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. The whole of the meeting will be recorded except where there are confidential items. If you make a representation to the meeting, you will be deemed by the council to have consented to being recorded. By entering the meeting as a speaker, you are also consented to being recorded by the council and possible use of those sound recordings for webcasting and or training purposes. The council, members of the public and press may record, film or photograph or broadcast the meeting when the public and press are not lawfully excluded. So the introductions are, Case Sanders unfortunately isn't with us because of internet connection issues. We have Catherine Green, Licensing Officer, Emma Richbell, Assistant Manager, Food Safety and Licensing, David Smithett, Legal Advisor, Karen Sayer, Governance Officer, and we also have David Price, Licensing Officer. Can I move to the agenda, please? Apologies for absence.
No apologies received, Chair.
Can I now ask you to take a roll call for the members present, please?
Thank you, Chair. Members, please can you reply with good morning or present when I call out your name? Councillor Brewster?
Present.
Councillor Epenyong? Don't think he's here. Councillor Flatman? She's also not here. Councillor Geek?
Present.
Councillor Guthrie?
Present.
Councillor Muller?
Present.
Councillor Otten? No. Councillor Phillips? No. Councillor Pratt? Councillor Pratt, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. It seems a bit fuzzy. I couldn't hear that. Yes, I am here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Stringer?
Present.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
If you are getting problems with hearing issues, can you let us know? Just pop your hands up, or if you can contact, is it your good self, Karen, or is it Mandy that will be?
Mandy's in the background.
So if you do have problems, can you contact Mandy for us, please? And her phone number is 078 608 29538. I think that's correct, I hope. Any declarations of interest by councillors? No. So, Councillor Stringer.
Yes, just to declare that I am a personal alcohol licence holder.
Thank you for that. So moving on, can we confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 7th of August, please? And what I will ask, are there any points of accuracy in the minutes that need Councillor Stringer again?
Sorry, Chair, that's a historic hand that's taking ages to lower.
OK, thank you for that, if you'd lower that down. So can I have a proposer and a seconder for the minutes, please? Councillor Muller.
Yeah, I'm happy to propose, thank you, Chair.
And a seconder for those minutes, please?
I'm happy to second, Madam Chair.
Thank you Thank you very much. Thank you for both of you who got there. Councillor Brewster did that for us, please. And so the Governance Officer, can you take a roll call vote on that issue, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Members, please can you reply with for, against or abstain? Councillor Brewster?
For.
Councillor Geek?
For.
Councillor Guthrie?
For.
Councillor Muller?
For.
Councillor Pratt?
For.
Councillor Stringer?
For.
Thank you, Chair. That's carried.
And again, they will be signed at the next practicable opportunity. Thank you for that. So to receive notification of petitions in accordance with the Council's petition scheme.
None received, Chair.
Thank you. So we now have the Governance Officer to report the Licensing Act, Statement of Licensing Policy, Statutory 5-year revision. So I'll invite, and it will be Emma Richbell who's going to present this matter for us. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Chair. This is to report back to the Licensing and Regulatory Committee the outcome of a full, targeted and public consultation which ran between the 20th of August 2020 and the 16th of September 2020 in respect of the Statement of Licensing Policy for Mid Suffolk District Council. Since November 2005, local licensing authorities have been responsible for functions under the Licensing Act 2003. Section 5 of the Licensing Act 2003 requires that each licensing authority shall determine and publish a local statement of licensing policy relating to the discharge of its licensing functions under the Act. The licensing team revisited the statement, which has been in effect since January 2016. This report seeks the approval by the Licensing and Regulatory Committee of the revised policy statement attached as Appendix A for recommendation on to full council so that it may be adopted for publication and ready to take effect from the 7th of January 2021. So the recommendation is that the post-consultation draft Statement of Licensing Policy in respect of the Licensing Act 2003 functions as attached to Appendix A be approved. Financial implications. This is a statutory function. The licensing team has undertaken the necessary work within existing resources and fee structure. In general terms, the legislation aims to secure full cost recovery of administering Licensing Act 2003 functions through fees payable for licence applications and ongoing maintenance. The fee banding system and fee levels are currently set by central government via regulation, as they have been unchanged since 2005. The previous government decided in early 2015 not to activate the provisions of the Police Reform and Social Responsibility Act 2011, Section 121, which would have devolved fee setting to local licensing authorities. This will be the 5th edition of the Council Statement of Licensing Policy under the Licensing Act 2003. The licensing team has the necessary experience, stakeholder contacts and networking in place to ensure that a wide and balanced consultation has taken place. The consultation took place over a period of 4 weeks through various channels and media. Adoption of the Licensing Act 2003 Statement of Licensing Policy is a function reserved for full council. Following the consultation exercise, Mid Suffolk District Council did not receive any responses. Therefore, no further changes are required to be made to the draft Statement of Licensing Policy. And this concludes my summary.
Thank you for that, Emma. Do members have any questions for Emma? And you may use the hands up function if you would. Councillor Stringer.
Thank you, Chair. Just a bit of clarity, really. Where it starts in the preamble, where the change has been, we've got 4,500 new residents, which is about normal. But has Mid Suffolk actually grown by 107 hectares? Because it's bigger than it was last time.
Oh, that's interesting. And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, Kay and Catherine did some research to make sure that all of our stats are up to date, and I'm not quite sure where the increase in area came from, if I'm honest with you. I don't know whether David or Catherine can help.
We did do some research into the figures, but we can go back to that if they're not accurate. But we're pretty sure that they were.
I think it's probably a rounding issue, because you probably rounded down to the nearest 1,000 hectares last time, and you've actually got it accurate. Either that or someone's filled in Needham Lake, which I don't think has happened.
No.
Thank you for that, Councillor Stringer. Can I just ask Emma whether, if you just review that, but whether that's a critical thing that we can't present to council, we can look at that and...
Absolutely, we will. Yes, we'll check that.
Thank you, Councillor Stringer. If you take your hand down now, thank you. Does anyone else have any other points to observe? No, in that case, then we can open the item up for debate. Councillor Muller, followed by Councillor Stringer.
Thank you, Chair. Apart from the item that's just been raised by Councillor Stringer, I'm quite happy with this document. No licensed premises have made any objections or made any further amendments, so I'm more than happy to move approval of this as per the recommendations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that, Councillor Muller. Councillor Stringer?
Yeah, I'd be happy to second this. Just one proviso, and it's a question. And it might be one where we are duplicating policy, but do we need a failure to comply with government lockdown policy within this, so that you're not only risking a fine, you're actually risking losing your licence?
I think we've discussed this before about the COVID issue. Emma, can you give us a response on that, please?
Yeah, I think we wouldn't want to incorporate it into the statement of licensing policy. I mean, let's hope that we don't have COVID for the next 5 years. That's hopefully a transient matter. It's something which is being dealt with by the Food and Safety and Licensing team under separate legislation. If there was continued failure to comply with COVID requirements, it's very likely that that would be also a failure to comply with other health and safety, food safety and licensing requirements, which could result in a review. But I don't think we need to necessarily name COVID as a separate reason for that in the policy.
Thank you for that, Emma. I know we've discussed that in the past. And Andrew, if you want to come back on...
Sorry, I didn't mention COVID. I actually said government lockdown. Government lockdown and COVID could be two different things.
Understood. Again, I think it's something which we would, yes, I mean, it could be a cause for a review to be brought, but it would need to be one of the breach of one of the 4 licensing objectives. So we would need to look at each case on its merits. And I think lockdown is a current issue at the moment. Yes, there could be reasons in the future to do so, but I think we would deal with it under our existing legislation that we would use.
So with that, yes, David Smithett, our legal advisor, is going to give us a comment, if you would, please, David.
Thank you, Chair. I think the issue is perhaps that there is specific legislation relating to controls on licensing during the pandemic. So that could be directly as a consequence of COVID-19 or indirectly as a consequence of lockdown. And what I would advise is that if there is a conflict between policy and law, then clearly the law would override any policy conflict that there might be. But as Emma says, there is procedure, if need be, to review in due course. But I would just make that comment so far as any potential conflict is concerned. Hope that assists.
That's very helpful. On that basis, Councillor Stringer, do you wish to remain as the seconder, or?
Yes, I do. That's a very comprehensive reply, and I suspected that would be the case, but it's handy to cover that off, because we've got, we see it in the media all the time with licensed premises, sometimes pushing the envelope, as it were.
Right. OK, then, if there's no further comments, can I ask that we go round and that the committee officer asks whether we approve or our vote on the proposal, and perhaps you'd just like to read the recommendation out again for us.
Thank you, Chair. Recommendation 3.1, that the post-consultation draft Statement of Licensing Policy in respect of Licensing Act 2003 functions, as attached at Appendix A to the report, be approved. And the recommendation to Council 3.2, that the Statement of Licensing Policy document be adopted. Would you like me to carry out the roll call vote now?
Yes, please, if you would.
Thank you, Chair. Members, please can you reply with for, against or abstain? Councillor Brewster? Councillor Brewster?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. 4.
Thank you. Councillor Geek?
4.
Councillor Guthrie?
4.
Councillor Muller?
4.
Councillor Pratt?
4.
Councillor Stringer?
4.
Thank you, Chair. That's carried.
Lovely. Well, there's no other business to discuss or debate. So I'll just thank everybody for their input and the officers for a very clear report and answers to the questions. Thank you, Emma. And this will go to the full council. Thank you very much indeed, Matter, and the meeting closed.
Thank you.